but I thought Cam did a nice job of practice today. What he's being asked to do is really hard. He has the benefit of having PJ out there who's done it a while, and obviously having Matt Barkley, who's a seasoned pro. So we have a good room right now.
How unique is it to, I guess, train a quarterback to be there for a stretch run of this nature with not having the ability, like having OTAs and things of that nature this late in the season?
How unique is it? Yeah, I don't think it happens very often. I mean, maybe it has. But typically your quarterback, everything. When something goes wrong on the field, the quarterback has to make it right, and make it right. They need tools, and to use tools, they have to have been through it and learned everything. That being said, Cam's played a lot of football, and so they put a lot of things up, and some things really probably hit his head easier than others because they've been there for a while. You can see really quickly that he's really a smart guy, and you can see really quickly that he works at it. And so they'll figure out the right plays for him, right amount of plays for him. Obviously we have PJ as well, so there's the right plays for him, and put together a game.
So it kind of sounds like with him knowing, I guess, a complicated part of the playbook, PJ will expect a lot of handful of snaps and kind of a dual quarterback system.
Yeah, I probably won't get into too much game plan wise. I hope you guys can respect that. Like we're just gonna have both guys ready to play, and just kind of take it day by day in terms of how much obviously take his first and second down, how much Cam felt good about, how much hit him probably. It's everyone else too, right? It's not just him. It's Johnny Miller's back practicing, and Pat Elfline's the second week at center. So there's a lot of guys that are stepping into new roles. So just trying to put together a game plan. So we'll have both guys ready, and how we use them, I think we'll figure out as the week goes on.
Matt, you mentioned game plan. How kind of interesting is the chess match this week when you've got Ron and his staff who know Cam so well?
Obviously, Coach Rivera, I can't speak for him, but obviously he's a great head coach, great defensive mind. Jack Del Rio's great defensive mind. They spent a lot of time together, so I'm sure they know things about each other that I certainly don't know. I think for us, we're trying to focus on ourselves. We have to find a way to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey and Amir and Chuba. Have to find a way to get the ball to DJ, Robbie, Terrace. Have to get the ball to Tommy and Ian. So I think for us, it's just, hey, who do we have? What are the plays that we like? And you look at what they did last week. They played a great game against Tampa Bay, and they've evolved a little bit defensively as to who they are as the year's gone on. And so, obviously them losing Chase Young, which you feel awful about, with Sweat being out. We don't know what they'll do. They might come out and blitz us. They might come out and play zone. We have to just kind of really focus on ourselves because there's a lot of unknowns for us getting ready for them.
Does it give you any kind of advantage having Cam and Christian and others practice against that defense before?
Well, Jack wasn't there, so it's just, Del Rio wasn't here. He was, it's kind of, I think he's running the defense, and even the defense we faced last year was a quarters-based defense. They've gone to more of like a one-high, different style. And when they were here, it seemed like the last year, and you guys would know better than me, it seemed like it was a little bit more of a 3-4 base at the end of last year. So I think when you get guys like Coach Rivera, Coach Del Rio, they can coach any defense, they can coach any coverage. So really, our players are just focused on their job and executing, and I think when we do that, we play pretty well.
Matt, you mentioned earlier trying to get a few plays for Cam in the game plan. Is there enough time to get some plays maybe he had in another scheme into your offense?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Sorry. You mentioned earlier about just kind of getting plays for Cam as far as the game plan. Is there enough time to get Cam-centric plays that maybe you ran in a different offense into your offense for this week or in the future?
Yeah, and I think to be quite honest, I think most things, even last week, we didn't come out and say, hey, let's run, quarterback power. Hey, let's run, we didn't say, hey, let's run zone read. Let's, without having it already in. So we kind of had some of those things in. Like I think I mentioned the other day, I think there was a point early in the year where Sam had like 4 or 5 touchdowns in 3 games. I can't remember what the number was. So, we've had some run the quarterback stuff. I think for Cam, it's as much, he's not just a runner, obviously. He can throw the football. So it's about finding route concepts that he's familiar with, that he likes. The good thing, as I said, is he's been through so much. So, Joe's he's been through so many different offenses. Joe does a good job of, if it works, we're going to do it. So it's one thing I've now learned being in the NFL is that there's a lot of similarities, a lot of offenses. It's kind of one group calls it this, one group calls it this, but it's all pretty much the same plays. So a lot of these guys are able to quickly transition pictures in their head to different words, and Cam's done a nice job of that.
And Matt, 2 small things, if you don't mind. One is just, are you ready to say, understanding you're getting two quarterbacks ready. Are you ready to say that Cam is going to start Sunday, or?
I think we're probably trending that way, to be quite honest with you. I just, I'm not gonna probably pull that trigger until later. But I think that, I was pretty transparent the other day in terms of, we're wanting to push him. I think into that. Well, I think it's good for our team, but we're getting PJ ready as well, and I think, as I said, I think game plan wise, we could see a myriad of different things happen.
And the other thing I was just going to ask you, after you got the job here, I can't. Maybe you answered this last year. I forgot if you did, but did you and Ron ever have like an extended conversation where he said, whatever,
No,
here's where to get your haircut or anything like that?
No, I never did. I mean, obviously I talked to Ron on the field last year before we played. He was great to me. Linda O'Hora, who was Coach Fox's assistant, and then was Ron's assistant, and then was my assistant before retiring. And she's been the conduit, for all things. And even now, I still call her when I need something. She's amazing. Not much beyond that. Obviously, I didn't have any history with Coach moving forward, and I was blessed to have Marty here. Marty was amazing to me. I think sometimes I talk to people about Marty, like he is as kind-hearted and wonderful a man as there is. I think he tries to put on a facade sometimes, I think, for people, but Marty's a special person, and I couldn't have dreamed of a better person to be my GM for my first year, because he wasn't too good to walk me through the simplest of things. Like, hey, explain to me what exclusive rights free agent is. And I really enjoyed my time with him. So, I never really had a chance to talk to Ron beyond that.
On that, go ahead, Jerry.
I think you said it kind of quickly a little earlier, but would you consider putting John Miller that if he's ready in the starting lineup, or do you like where the line is right now?
I have to really see how John does. He was very limited today. It might be this week, it might be later next week. I'm just going to start trying to work Johnny back in. So obviously John's been a starter. When he's healthy, he's as powerful and stout a guy as there is. He's a warrior. He goes out there and plays when he's banged up. I think he's finally healthy. I just have to see how close he is to being ready to play. So I think Trent's done a really nice job. So we'll have to make that decision when it comes. Right now we're just kind of running on parallel tracks, so getting Trent ready and getting Johnny back in the fold.
And also, I guess one of the biggest questions about Cam before he signed with the Panthers was where his arm was at. How do you feel based on what you've seen so far?
I've seen no issue with his arm.
Obviously, he threw the touchdown to Robbie last week. Have you seen maybe the chemistry between him and Robbie and DJ at this point?
Chemistry in terms of obviously Cam's, kind of like a lightning rod of, energy and relationships. He does a great job of those things. In terms of, I think in terms of on the field football stuff, I'm always going to be kind of an execution guy. Robbie got open, he made the throw, that chemistry, that innate, hey, I know where you're going to be. I think that takes time. And, I think kind of our hope has been, work him in over the next 2 weeks, go on the bye week, and then, have the final 5 games of the year with, Cam really kind of understanding a good feel for what we do and knowing where guys are going to be. So every practice rep is just getting us a little bit closer to that, where you can kind of play without thinking, which to me is, really when, greatness comes. So they're starting to build that chemistry, it looks like. They certainly have an off-the-field chemistry, but on the field, I just think it's going to take a little time.
Yeah, Matt, last week you mentioned, obviously this is the Cam Newton when he was 25. You watched his Patriots tape from a year ago, the preseason tape, and now once you see him to practice. Considering all that, what are your realistic on-field expectations for Cam?
Just help us go win this game this week. Cam was brought here to help us win. Thought he helped us win last week, and only played 8 plays, but I think it was 8 plays. But played good football for those 8 plays. I expect him to just work to become a guy that can help us win week in and week out. And beyond that, that's kind of all I expect from all of our guys. I expect them to play really hard, to prepare really hard, do their job, and then go out and deliver on Sundays. And Cam did that last week on a 2 days worth of work. Now he has a full week worth of work. I expect him to prepare all week and go out and practice hard and then get to the game and play well. So anything beyond that, I don't really think too much about. I just really kind of think about, hey, this week, and then from there, I think about Christian. I think about Christian for this week, and really, that's always kind of my mindset. That's why you see 1-0 in the building. Like, I just try to stay locked into 1 week at a time. So.
How much time did he spend in the building the last couple of days trying to get ready, and how much time did you spend with him?
How much time does he spend in the building? I don't know what time, I don't know the full range of time that he's in and leaves. I know he's here a lot. I guess what's today, Wednesday? Yeah. I sat down with him Monday for a good amount of time, just to talk about the game and how he saw things. Yesterday, I didn't sit down with him yesterday, just kind of, it was our game plan day, and then obviously today we've been working all day, so he's going to work with Joe and Sean to learn as much as he can and get himself as ready as he can, but it's kind of the same thing that PJ's doing with those guys and Matt's doing with those guys, so I expect all of our guys to prepare at a really high level.
Was there anything that you learned, you said you sat down with him Monday extensively, was there anything that you learned that you might not have known about him before from that conversation?
No, I just think the thing is like, he's kind of the things I talk about with our guys, of being tough and hardworking and competitive, and practicing at a high level and taking accountability and challenge, those are all things that so far he's done, and so it's like he's kind of like the personification of the brand and the things that I talk about. So, he obviously has a different process because he's been in different places. I've asked him to, hey, come in and just do our process. And he's been great about that. As are all these guys. These guys are all pros. They all want to win. But at the end of the day, when we step on the field between the white lines, I want guys who go out there like lions and compete at a high level and don't make excuses. Don't let other people make them for them. And go out there and compete. And that's what PJ did last week. That's what Christian does, and that's certainly what Cam Newton does. And so I've enjoyed every second of it so far.
Hey, hold on 1 second. We're going to take two more. Sharon, do you have one? Are you good?
I have one.
Okay. You got one person. Take three. The last three. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore's not on the injury report. Assuming that's a good thing, what does that mean for his playing time and his role?
I think we're just going to keep bumping him up every week. The issue is like we think Dante's playing. I mean, Dante played as well a game as he got beat on one play, and it was so funny. Like, kind of threw a pass interference, and I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, it was like 2 plays later. I said, see, like that's what I love about you. Like when we first got here, that might have affected you." And he's like, "Oh, I had bad eyes. That's my fault anyway. I'm not even worried about the official." Like Dante's level of like what's next in his brain and maturity in his brain is so elite to me. He's a competitor, and when you have a guy that size that's covering the way he's covering, picking balls off, but at the same time his tackling. I mean, it was really impressive to watch, and so I got excited to even give me the answer. I forget what you even asked me. I ain't gonna lie.
Gilmore.
But so we have a lot of guys playing well. Like Keith Taylor's playing really well. C.J. Henderson, like really starting to play well. Melvin was playing well for her. A.J. Boye, like he can do it all, goes all over the field. So we don't need Stephon right now to play 70 plays. So we're just kind of working him back into the the whole fold. But health-wise, he's been good. I think for some of those guys, it's kind of like, hey, get to the bye week, and then maybe some of their play can go up. Shaq, we've tried to limit his play the last couple of weeks, and then we kind of turned him loose. A big thing in this game on Sunday was having Burris out there. He's the veteran in the secondary. Sometimes when he's not out there, you got a bunch of young guys out there, and safety, you have to make a lot of calls, and Justin gets out there. So a lot of good things have happened to us in terms of our depth.
You spoke a lot about the energy that Cam brings to games and practices. Having seen it now for a couple of days, how apparent is that energy and how different is the feel of practice?
I spoke a lot about his energy. You're saying
you said it at the end of last week.
Yeah, I'm not super like. We have really good energy at practice. Like we practice fast. The thing that Cam brings to me is he brings like execution. he threw first 2 plays, he touched the ball, he scored touchdowns. Like that's like a movie. I sat there and I couldn't believe that happened. So yeah, does he bring energy? I just don't want to diminish his on the field play, if that makes sense. Like, yes, he's walking around the locker room, he's fun to be around, he's yelling, he's screaming, he's, smacked me in the middle of the game one time. He's fun to be around, but at the end of the day, as he'll be the first to tell you, all that's for naught if he doesn't play well, if we don't play well. So he gets that. The thing that he said to me, and going back to Vashti's question, is it's all about winning. That's to me, he's like, Coach, it's all about winning. The standard is a standard, and then. I'm the old coach who gets up and talks about standards all the time. Everyone's like, all right, yeah, I got it. Well, you got a guy now who's saying, hey, guys, this is how I see it. Now you got Christian who believes in that, and Taylor, so I got enough guys that believe in standards, and winning is the only thing that matters, that it helps. So the energy's awesome. I don't ever mean to diminish it. I just love the fact that like he's on the practice field, and he throws his last ball of each period, he turns and runs down and runs the lap and comes back. Like, those are things that pros do. And so it's way more to me about the example being set in terms of preparation, practice, accountability, all those things. I just, we all understand Cam is like a force of nature almost, in terms of like the things that he brings. But I don't want that to be all that people realize, because I'm only knowing him a short time. What I see is a true professional that wants to win, that puts the time in. That all he said to me is, "Hey, hold me accountable. If I'm not dropping the way you want, then tell me to drop." That's all he wants, and that's what Christian McCaffrey runs a play. He's the first guy over there. Like, was that the right cut? How'd you see it? Da, 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 da. And I say all that because a lot of young players out there in the world, and sometimes we bring in here, that they're very defensive. Like, why are you coaching me like this? Well, the two of the best guys in the history of football are out here saying, "Hey, coach me." So that's the message I want about Cam. This is like this. I don't know Cam before. I know the Cam I know right now wants to win and wants to be good and wants to help make this team a good team. And so all the other stuff is fun. It's gravy. It's all that. Like the "I'm back" was for one time. I can live with it. But you have to get in the end zone to do those things, and I think he gets that, and I get that, and I hope everyone gets that. Like, it's all about football, and he's gonna help us get the football better.
What was your reaction when
Hey, David, go ahead, man. Chris, it's the last one.
You've been trying to get the special teams personnel right all season. Can you just talk about the impact Zane Gonzalez has had, being a player of the week twice now this season for you guys?
Yeah, I don't, I think we got it right, to be quite honest. I mean, I know early on we had to make some moves and all that, and then obviously Joey getting hurt stunk, right? But, I think Zane is at a point now where it's like, I can put a guy out there to kick a 52-yard without thinking a lot about it. If you go back to the first game of the year, I think I punted from the 32 or 33-yard line, right? So did whatever it took to pin the defense down, and now I can kick that ball. So it just gives me way more flexibility. People talk a lot about going for on fourth down and game management decisions. They put a lot of analytics and probabilities up, and all those are based off of the median team in the National Football League. And if you have a team that can get that yard, you go for it. If you have a team that you don't think you can get that yard, you probably shouldn't go for it. And if you think you can make that kick, then you kick it. And so for me, the decision-making matrix has gotten way easier because I'm like, shoot, let's kick it. I feel good about his chances of making pretty much every kick, and more importantly, I love his demeanor. If he misses a kick, I'm not worried, is this going to put him in the tank? And the things he's done kicking off. I mean, early in the year, we first got him, the ball was being kicked to the 5, and they return the ball back on us, right? Now the ball's through the end zone pretty much every time unless we deem, hey, let's kick it. Even after that penalty the other day, he kicked the ball from the 20, and we got the ball all the way down there and tackled him at the 30. So he's done a really nice job. And to your point, I think he's had, this year, 3 holders. I think that's what it's been, right? Lachlan has really, I think, done a nice job coming in there and learning our system, punting and holding for us. So I think Chase, I think Ed Foley, I think Mike Cyphers, they've been kind of dealt some interesting things that have happened and different things and having to bring guys in. But they've coached the guys, and that's what a coach's job is. It's not to figure out the personnel; it's to coach the guys. They've coached the guys, and I think Zane's excellent. And I told him on the field, everyone's hugging him because he got an MC Player of the Week. I said everybody loves a kicker as long as he makes his kicks. So Zane, that's what's great about Zane, man. He's a football guy. He's not just a specialist. He's part of the team, and he's done a nice job.
All right, thank you, Coach.